Hey everyone, Daniel Vadnal here for Fitness FAQs. Today's video, I want to talk to you about the difference between pull-ups and lat pull-downs, pros, cons for each, which one you should be doing specific to your goals. Guys, in the comment section below, let me know which exercise you prefer, the lat pull-down, the pull-up, let me know why. To start with, let's talk about the pull-up. A pull-up is a closed kinetic chain exercise. This means that the hands are fixed on a surface, being the bar, and the body moves. Closed kinetic chain exercises are shown in the research to be superior to open kinetic chain exercises. This is because they elicit a greater amount of motor unit recruitment, meaning more muscle fibers are recruited during the exercise. So theoretically, this leads to greater strength development and more muscular mass as a consequence of this finding. Before we get into the specifics of each exercise, we should understand what the difference is between relative and absolute strength. This is going to enable us to make good comparisons between the exercises and also determine which exercise is better suited for our goals. Relative strength is basically how good you are at moving your own body weight. Absolute strength refers to maximal force production, and this is tending to be influenced by your body weight. So the heavier you are, the more load that you can lift on a given exercise. If we look at relative strength and use this as an example, comparing two different people, say you've got one person who's 65 kilos and they're lifting 90 kilos in an exercise versus someone who's 80 kilos lifting 105 kilos. On the surface, you'd think that the person lifting more weight is stronger. You're correct in terms of absolute strength. They're lifting more total load during that movement. That's correct. If we're looking at who's stronger, relatively speaking, the person who actually weighs less in this example is lifting more in relation to their body weight. So if the comparison was to be made more equal, the heavier person would have to actually lift more than this 25 kilos extra than their body weight. To calculate relative strength, you get your absolute weight and you divide it by your body weight. This will give you the amount that you're lifting in relation to how much you actually weigh, and it's a really good way of comparing different people at different weights in terms of their strength. Of course, strength is a lot more complicated than this because we've got height, limb length, genetics, you've got people's different ratios of fiber types and stuff that is going to determine how strong we actually are. But this just gives you a greater indication when you want to quickly make a comparison of someone who weighs this, lifts this much, compared to someone else. Let's talk about some of the pros when it comes to doing the pull-up. Number one would have to be this exercise is highly versatile. You can do it anywhere. You don't need any specialized equipment. I mean, I've done pull-ups in such random places over the years, trees, different structures on buildings. I've seen people do them on the door frame in their door. Please use caution for that one. If you're pretty heavy, please don't do that. Anyway, you can find ways to do pull-ups and chin-ups. There really is no excuse. You don't have to go to a gym. You don't need specialized equipment. You literally just need something that you can hang from enough distance from the ground, as well as if it's sturdy enough to bear your weight, you're good to go and you can do pull-ups. One of the other benefits of doing a pull-up most people don't refer to is it develops really good overall body awareness. When you're going through the motion of the exercise, you need to have good awareness of what's happening at your shoulder girdle, your pelvis, what are you doing with your trunk, how you're stabilizing various things, what's happening with your lower body. All of this is going to influence your body shape, how much force you can produce during the exercise, etc., etc. Made comparison to a lat pull down, with this exercise, you've got the luxury of being fixed. Your thighs are fixed on the pad and you can generate a lot of force via hip and leg drive, and it allows you to have a nice reference for core positioning, body positioning that you don't have with the pull-up. With the pull-up, you're forced to ingrain this position yourself, get into this position yourself. When you're doing a pull-up, on the other hand, it's all upper body. You can't get that benefit of the lower body unless you cheat and do kips, but we don't kip on this channel, guys. And it's a lot more challenging and likely has a better carryover to other exercises compared to doing lat pull downs with this specific point in mind. It's almost comparable to doing an exercise with a lifting belt, how it creates that intra-abdominal pressure and it assists you with that feedback that you have via the belt, as opposed to just using your own muscles to create the stability. Another benefit when doing pull-ups, it keeps you really honest. If you're too heavy, your body fat's too high, it's very humbling to get up on a pull-up bar and realize that you can't do a rep or many reps at all. It's a good wake-up call to get your diet in check and your nutrition in check, get your body fat levels down and increase your relative strength. It's very humbling. So what are some of the cons when it comes to pull-ups? Well, if you're too heavy, you're not going to be able to do a full range of motion during this exercise. So you'll either do no reps at all, or you won't be able to do many reps during your set. This makes it really hard to actually get stronger because a lot of people are going to cheat via using momentum or abbreviating the range of motion. And it's not ingraining good habits. You're not going to build significant amounts of strength if the exercise is too hard for you. So even for beginners that are in a good body weight, the exercise might still be too hard and the entry level barrier might be too high. So choosing a lat pull down in this circumstance will be good as a starting point to build strength before moving on to pull-ups. If you're too weak or too heavy to do full range of motion pull-ups, you're probably thinking a good alternative would be to use a resistance band or an assisted pull-up machine to make the exercise easier by bringing down some of your body weight. And this is not a good way to go about training. It's one of the cons that I see when people try and approach the pull-up. This is because using this form of assistance, particularly with a resistance band, actually messes with the strength curve of the exercise. You see, when you do a pull-up, it's actually most difficult at the start of the exercise for most people. And what does a band do? It provides the greatest assistance at the bottom. You might think that this is a good option, but it actually limits you from developing strength where it matters most. There's much better ways to go about building strength with a pull-up, but the average person that I see in the gym or training that's not aware of this strength curve will use inferior ways of training, such as using the assistance, thinking that they're going to get stronger. So this is a major negative when doing pull-ups. Let's talk about the lat pull down exercise. Now, this is an open kinetic chain exercise, meaning your hands move whilst your body remains stationary. One of the great benefits of doing a lat pull down, fantastic for increasing absolute strength. So for those of you that are really interested in just increasing how much total weight you can lift on an exercise, logically the lat pull down is going to be great for doing so. I also think lat pull downs are a really good exercise, especially for beginners, because it allows you to be very objective with your progression. This means that each week you can increase the amount of weight that you're lifting during your workout. What I tend to see with people when they do pull-ups is the ego gets in the way. They want to progress too quickly and they don't maintain their form standards when they do a pull-up. They're going to abbreviate their range of motion, they're going to use momentum, or they're going to start doing the exercise too fast and without control. With the lat pull down, you can steadily increase the weight by a manageable amount each week, and this allows you to accurately increase the intensity over time so that you can maintain good form standards. When it comes to training, guys, we really need to take a step back and look at what the purpose of someone's training is. I'm not going to stand here and say that this exercise is superior to this one for every single person, because that's not true. Even though I love bodyweight fitness and love doing pull-ups, there is a time and a place for using a lat pull down. Let's look at an example of someone that literally just wants to focus on building muscle mass. What we know is you need to do a large amount of volume, sets, reps, and load to increase your muscular mass. So a lat pull down can be really effective for many sets because you can keep dropping the weight and doing reps as you go. So it's really good for doing drop sets. You can start heavy on the lat pull down, do a few sets to fatigue, drop the weight, do another set, drop the weight, do another set, bang, there you go. You've got a lot of volume for your back. The same thing can be done once you've exhausted yourself with pull-ups. You can then go onto the lat pull down, use a weight that's manageable at an intensity that's manageable, and you can keep going. So fantastic for bodybuilding purposes. If you're trying to get as big as possible, use the lat pull down. Don't be afraid of using it. Another advantage of the lat pull down exercise is, especially if you're someone that has poor relative strength, it allows you to use a wide variety of grips. So as we know, on different grips, we're stronger versus weaker. So an underhand grip, we're going to be able to do more reps with more weight compared to a really wide grip lat pull down. How this helps us is we can just easily change the weight depending on the grip that we're using to make it challenging for the specific grip. When we're looking purely at body weight, because you can't change the intensity with your own body weight for different grips without using some form of assistance, which once again mucks up the strength curve of the exercise. If you've got someone who can only do, say, 5 regular grip pull-ups and they want to do really wide grip pull-ups, they're not going to be able to do many, if any, because the exercise is that much harder. So variety of grips, lat pull down has my tick of approval. Unless you've got pretty good relative strength, then you can do pull-ups in terms of variation and get enough volume in. What happens if you get injured and you can't do your normal pull-up routine because it causes too much shoulder pain? Are you not going to train at all, lose strength, lose muscle in the process? The human body, especially the shoulder complex, if you get an injury there, requires stability, it requires strength. The best way to get the shoulder stronger in this situation may be to use a lat pull down. This will allow you to decrease the load, but still stimulate the shoulder girdle to get activation through your rotator cuff, get some stability there, and get you on the road to recovery so that you can get back into your pull-ups when your shoulder's not as grumpy. If you're doing lat pull downs, there tends to be a pretty poor carryover to your pull-up strength. So guys, this is going to sound very simple. To get better in exercise, do the specific exercise. Don't get fancy. If you want to improve your pull-up, do pull-ups. Don't think that by doing really heavy lat pull downs, it's going to transfer directly to your pull-up strength. This isn't the case. I've seen so many people who are jacked out of their mind doing really heavy lat pull downs, but they can either not do a pull-up with full range of motion, or they can only do like a few reps on the pull-up. So clearly there's a huge discrepancy between their absolute strength and their relative strength. If you want to increase your relative strength, work on a relative strength exercise, specifically the pull-up, if that's what you want to get better at. I'm going to hit you guys with a pro for both the lat pull down as well as the pull-up. When doing exercise, we know using a full range of motion and controlled eccentrics are really important, more specifically for increasing flexibility. This happens via 2 mechanisms. One is sarcomerogenesis. This is the addition of sarcomeres in series to the muscle, increasing its actual length. And what we also get by doing controlled eccentrics is reduced mechanoreceptor firing rates, which actually has an influence on improving our stretch tolerance, which consequently increases our overhead range of motion because we're getting more length through the lats. In conclusion, guys, always refer to the SAID principle, specific adaptations to imposed demands. Do the exercise that you want to get stronger at for the specific purpose that you want to get stronger at. If you're looking to improve your relative strength for sports, if you're into bodyweight fitness, then working on pull-ups is going to be more advantageous for you guys. If you're only interested in improving your absolute strength, think someone that's a powerlifter, for example, or someone that's not concerned with how they're moving their body through space, so someone that's a bodybuilder, then use lat pull downs more so for that case. With that said, guys, don't be dogmatic. Don't be afraid to use a variety of exercises. It allows you to change the stimulus, use variety. If you're someone that does bodyweight fitness, you can use lat pull downs to further work in a variety of rep ranges, intensities, vary the stimulus, change the time under tension. There's so many options when it comes to exercise. Don't put something in the basket, I'm never gonna do that. Always have an open mind, experiment, try different things. You'll be surprised if you don't stay stuck in your ways. If you did enjoy the video, really do appreciate it if you guys leave a thumbs up. It really does help support my page. Keeps me pumping out this content for you guys. Let me know that you're supporting it. If you guys are confused in terms of how to work out, how to structure your training for the best results, head on over to fitnessfaqs.tv. I've spent my life researching this stuff, guys, and I've produced the best possible workout programs for building muscle, building strength, using only your body weight. Thanks once again, guys, for watching. I'll see you guys next week.